Your next Adina Monsoon. This post-Jennifer-Saundering glow just keeps giving and giving and giving the mental tingles. So it's interesting because you might think how I got started, I'm going to do a little bit of a girly girl, 9-year-old, embodied in that. But what I want to talk about is, the mold took my language abilities. Has to be part of how I ended up alone. And it would superimpose over if the mold was my childhood problem as well. I never really had a shot of ever having a fulfilling relationship until now. And it fucks me up that I have done all this work pro bono for humanity and I'm about to die. I have endured so much stress because of financial hardship. Because I swear I've been saying I'm really able to help humanity right over here. No one's listening. Nobody's been listening my whole life. Nobody listens. And I feel like I do better. And I feel like I said something. They're gonna listen now. Keep going. What? Physiologically, what seems to have been happening, was a disjointedness. And the motherfucking landscapers. No. Oh me, oh my. Well, there went that buzz. And you live with it. I haven't lived with this shit. The toxic stress of the decibels and the black smoke carbon monoxide this is a sliding glass door right here, and it's not well insulated. We are being poisoned every day as humans, every day. And this is what I believe has happened my whole life. Like, the speed of my thinking is much faster than I could get out my vocal cord. I wasn't being touched, and I wasn't hearing a range of emotions and a range of different languages, a range of, again, emotional tenor is also creativity, right? You just sometimes the judge, what the Negroes are saying. So not having any of that in my childhood and seeing myself get expression after I've turned 50 turns me on. About fucking time too, right? Somebody had to get interested in that. Human civilization needs #redheaded She-Hulking. It really does. There's now a leaf blower being started up. This is not my first performance where I've had to duel with power tools of mass destruction. trying to get my own drama. Do this. Body drumming on a yoga ball. Okay. Again, the absolute pinnacle of being alive is challenging yourself. Is having this playful dialogue with yourself. It's the only way to get to having a playful dialogue with other people. If you're blocked in some way. And truthfully, we all block in ways, in shapes, and the Cartesian split, and the Newtonian mechanistic frameworks. These things don't explain being human very well. And so when those are the frameworks, we start to diagnose humans with mental illness when they are actually suffering from environmental toxicity. So now I smell the off gas of this shit. Now the wave of the carbon, because again, it's propelled, right? So as soon as they, get close into the patio, they're propelling the air directly into my residence. It's carbon monoxide, y'all. And what's more scary than anything is how many of y'all don't notice how much these chemicals and all of this excess carbon are fucking with you. You start screaming at somebody else and it's all about them. It's all about power tools and mass destruction is what it's all about. And imagine if you were your dog, cat, with much more sensitive hearing, much more sensitive smelling. Imagine the wildlife in your neighborhood. Stop with all this goddamn toxic landscaping. Really, seriously. Blame it on the cows. Meatless Monday, y'all doing. And you letting all that toxicity. What did America do 20 years ago before leaf blowers? Was rakes all that bad? Leaf litter is an important component of replenishing the soil. I hear how some of y'all futzing with me. It's the cellulose, the fiber, the filler, the material for microbes. It might not be that the leaves themselves have the particular fertilizing effects you were thinking of. You were thinking of the fact that you needed insect, bird, mammal remains. We don't even think about insect and reptile remains. Them shits is seeping down in as well. Right? I mean, might be some foxes and whatnot. There'd be a little something to eat. Bird remains, small critter remains. Who is eating reptile, lizard remains? I guess the insects. They'll be handled by the insects. So it's up and down an ecosystem chain, right? It's a tesseract. Now we're gonna go all Madeline Langle on your ass. And tesseracting. It's one of the verbs I've played with using for this little capacity I have. So this is not even at 10 minutes yet. We're just hitting 10. So I turned this on. Like, I'm now having a little bit like, that's spooky. Because I feel like I've been tortured with this landscaping for at least 20 minutes. Like, time is now altered. Like, I just was in a time warp. I'm going to tell you about these kinds of things. Time. As I put on the well-being philosopher, really smart, wise, feminine. She Einstein. Time is only embodied. No such thing as space-time out there. There's stuff, but there's no space-time is not stuff. Space-time is not stuff. Have I solved everything for you? Is the theory of everything now? Space-time is not stuff. Space-time is not stuff. Yeah, that's the fifth force for your ass. Space-time is not stuff. Space-time is not stuff. Just how I am feeling so threatened by those power tools of mass destruction. I feel that my life is in danger, and I am creating at such a high level. It's like these motherfuckers are gonna have to be like drowning me in money. This is such good material. Again, not either or, this is both and therefore. There is something quite to it. The psychological safety is necessary for creativity. There's also the case that in rare instances, life-threatening circumstances will lead to life-saving creativity. Can't build a world expecting that to happen. That, when you push someone the way I've been pushed with this isolation, a decade in pandemic conditions, suffering from a brain that was just, it was powering the fuck down. I couldn't walk or talk 2 years ago. What this is all about is right in the zone of my 52nd. And it was, I feel, watching all of AbFab, except for these last 3, before they stopped streaming on Netflix 2 years ago, my 50th birthday. I leaned into experiencing the true joy of having a life like Adina Monsoon. I never had a friend. I never had any money. I never got to just walk around getting things done for me. And I finally was able to sort of suffer the suffering of all that isolation at the precise time I knew how to move through it and forward. It's both this thing, I knew what I was doing and I didn't know what I was doing. I felt like I could survive. I knew I had no idea how to do it. So I knew that trusting my body, keeping the body alive, however much the mind objected, keep the body alive. Because you see, the framework of the US of hypocrisy in this Terminator cycle of bills every month, it exterminates much precious human life force. Right from the start, it constrains black-skinned human life force. Tames more densely melanated human skin of all varieties. In the US of hypocrisy, you don't get a fair game. And that's reproachable. We are not going to get to where we need to go with any more laws. We've had movements, we've had murders. Only love can conquer hate. What we're talking about here is first and foremost giving humans back the capacity to liberate free thinking. Once you're free to think for yourself and you're having fun and you're playing with Jennifer Saunders, you know you want other people to go play with whoever one of their favorite entertainers is in the world and make a little play. Like they might make a play about the characters, or they might make a play about you creating a character and lineage. What if Adina Monsoon had a twin who June Whitfield shipped off to America? Or, even better, she came to America and had an affair. We have to get the dates right. Let's get the dates. Because Jennifer Saunders, you are older than me. Yeah, let's get the dates right. So maybe she came over and had a affair. So I'm Adina Monsoon's never known sister. And here comes the lawnmower of mass destruction. It stinks. I mean, like, I can now feel a real throbbing tension happening here. Just like that. Just like that. Oh. America! Stop the goddamn landscaping already! Who's doing this to me? Imagine what it's doing to the poor guys. And I'm dramatizing, not dramatizing. I'm giving you the full embodiment because I've worked really hard to learn the truth of my own body. What I did in my solitude, it's extraordinary hard work given the framework of how we think human bodies operate in this culture. But we also all have had experiences where we know our body and its truth in a way that society doesn't understand or accept. Lawnmowers and like trimmers, like 2 different RPMs, like just. The person having a PTSD reaction is not the problem. Why is the environment of America reminding them of a war zone? That's the question. Chronically. The examples we get told are these things, somebody hears a car backfire. We think about that. But a vast majority of these men are involved in domestic abuse. They're harming their families. That's because there is a chronic stressor in their environment. Perhaps toxic air, or perhaps a lot of noise pollution. And the level, it's the constant chronic levels. Again, they may be really struggling financially. I mean, it's the amping up of their nervous system that causes the violence that now comes out. It's unexpected. There's no right context for it, but it had to the physicalness, the response to a war zone situation that had to be constrained at the time is now coming out unexpectedly in context, because what's revving that person's nervous system is financial stress, not war stress. But the nervous system hits that exact same place where the initial stimulus of hitting that demanded a violent response. It's not very natural that humans in a war zone wax philosophical. I'm allowed to know this is rare. I'm allowed to know I am the shit. And I live in a world where it's controversial for somebody, an adult, to be able to own their own precious, unique role in the world. But we've all been raised to fit into the models of the world. Model this. Do not know what I'll put that tongue in my cheek, because I was doing the unexpected. That's a real valuable, priceless talent in the post-pandemic reality of 2021. Somebody who can just mosey on up to anyone, say anything. Go, well, let's just talk about the most complex thing that's bothering your ass. Right? Right here, right now. Let's get our intellects out. See what we can do about this challenge. I'm gonna get it all sorted. Real quickly, I could. Real quickly, I could get the general level of dialogue elevated. Real quickly, I could get the people making decisions, get through to all of the intelligent decision makers about life-centric thinking, about the way you constantly consult the math of life or evolutionary logic or environment is everything. This is an example of a human really feeling like her life is in danger. She lives a life as a 333-pound woman. She's running. It's not like a cognitive response I can possibly have. I could go lie down in my bed, what I typically would have done before all y'all here on the YouTube live. Wink, 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 me, myself, and I. Just me, myself, and I here right now. That's comforting. I was here for myself. I started having one, now a second person, pivoting around. Seems too good to be true. Power tools of mass destruction have disappeared. That really plummeted me. I was operating really at the peak of my voltage, my amplitude and voltage, and I didn't even notice that plunge until I resuscitated. I love getting these things on film. I love my job. I created it. It hurts tremendously that nobody will watch it so far, because I need help genrefying. It's a little lovely blend of mine. I need help. All I get is people giving me advice. I'm running some daft little it's really hard. So I want to make fun of the cottage industry of life coaching. I want to make fun of any life coach, no person, but the sort of the industry of it all. It's like shabby chic employment. It's just gag me with a spoon privilege. And power tools, day back to revving. That must have been a gas break. That's probably, they got a container like this. That's probably they pouring gas sloppily in the grass of my yard. My Zanzi puppy. Likes to have her rabbit pellets on demand. So she's very, very health conscious little pup. She keeps, she gets her greens and her probiotics as snacks. I mean, you might be paying Amazon, Zanzi, and she prefers it. So I let her ingest her probiotics in a wheatgrass smoothie. Okay, we're guarding our strength. Our tools are approaching. The power tools are approaching. Like this, sound like another one. The RPM is different, so it's not the lawnmower, it's the leaf blower. Yeah. Help a stand-up philosopher out. Right? I just want to get a little space. My own little in-house recording studio. Hire some editors. Sell some NFT art. More art. Start to make my film, Landalozzi. See if we find who's the right person to direct the documentary. power tools and shit. That was a leaf blower. Started yanked right there. Oh, I smell it. Now the carbon monoxide. Now the smell. See, the speed of the air molecules, just like lightning and thunder don't travel, the smell always shows up later. So often you really don't even know because your vision's already forward and even your hearing's forward. We don't really ever, if you can smell, if you haven't started just completely breathing through your mouth, which that's what asthma is, your body starts sending you alarms about what you're smelling through your nose is not okay, and you were supposed to move, run, buy air purifier, something. You don't listen. You start mouth breathing to dial down all of those nervous system alarms. I'm really fearful for my life, y'all. I have worked myself to exhaustion. It's time for the Cavalry. That's one of them. And it's 2 words, 2 sounds that you can't really tell the difference. They're the same. I mean, they're 2 different, but like they're interchangeable. Like, I don't like those words. It's probably something to do with there is some constriction. Cavalry. Yeah, so somewhere in there, I made the place where baby cows congregate. Cavalry. Do you see? There's just, it's all just indistinguishablenesses. And the sort of there's in that particular set of letters, K and L's, C's and A and L's and B's and R's and Y's. Cavalry. Cavalry. Jason Caffrey. Oh my. All of us have these things. We all have things. And some people are just a little bit awkward in certain situations. It's really it just doesn't make sense. It's just certain situations, and then you stop doing those situations. Certain of us have trouble pronouncing certain kinds of words, or certain dialects, or certain names. And again, not even at a high level, maybe just certain like conglomerations of letters. There's just so much about us that we experience that we don't talk about. That I always would be like, it's sad that I don't have people to talk to. Well, really, I'm not going to force the issue, because what I hear everyone talking about is just like, doesn't seem like life to me. It doesn't seem like fun. It doesn't seem like, getting to know this body equipment that we're all living in. That's the best. That's the best. Talking about living in human bodies. watching all this stuff about women getting plump at their age. While I'm getting lean and mean and a thinking machine. Because I drink full fat cream. You know who I just did. Don't. Now, I'm confirming that if you're right, you know you're right. Step aside the mirror. Yeah, that was one punchline too far. Because I hadn't set up Awakenings or Penny Marshall or anybody yet. Art improv is just stellar. Stellar fun. Again, I'm crashing. Brainwave wise. My brain really wants me to turn the lights off and be in the dark. I need some sensory deprivation right now. Right now. That onslaught of hyper toxic, the smell and the sounds. No sight, right? We're talking to each other. So most of everything that we're doing and reacting to during the day is sight. And then, again, for some of us, 15% and 5%, some of us 25%, 3%. But we're all, as a species, very visually attuned. The things that we can't see, we very often, especially the Western measurement medicine now, they discount what they can't see. Now, I know how poor the Mac mic is. Well, good, depending on what they're saying is it doesn't pick up a lot of surrounding noises. So this went on a few times. I'm sure my acting is not that good. My acting is, I point out my acting. Let's put it that way. The amount of times I've had to battle with landscapers in these recordings. You think about, again, driving along, enjoying the fresh air, and then boom, like some big coal-powered dump trucky dinosaur thing comes at you. And you're not even thinking, and then you smell that coal, that diesel exhaust. It's like, it just creates mayhem. It really does. That's the hair version of all of these so much toxic pollutants in our air. And that's what I've been suffering from. And again, all the energy in the previous Jennifer Saundering I don't know. It felt so. When I turned this on, was to record the gratitude I felt at creating my own ab fab. as I was thinking to tweet Jennifer Saunders. That all just happened. There was no forethought, no mind sight really. It's just quite frankly a mental orgasm. So I've got to the point where I'm creating all this great stuff in my life. It's like it could just be the cheap ebook level. I mean, writing, an ebook that brings in $100,000 a year about, midlife crises. But it's that thing that I've now gotten to the fact of like the lowest common denominator. It's like whatever happens, it's the work. From what I know about the world and how ignored I've been, I've either got to go global class or say bye-bye. Because I've asked and asked for the smaller things, for small assistance, for asked and asked and asked and asked. And that actually isn't right. I have pitched strategic collaborations and reciprocal. You got some money now, give it to me. I got a lot more money coming from you in the future. Investments. My investment creation capacity is too advanced for anyone to see. That's because I'm not supposed to be owned. Not in the traditional product sense. I'm looking for the people really committed to the abundance of human life force. Putting up enough up front so I can pay the collaborators I need. Spread life-centric thinking to every one of the 7.8 billion humans across the globe. So some movie tickets, some movie tie-ins, DVDs, streaming deals, documentaries, sitcoms, Astoundingly Fabulous. Oh yeah, that's the name. Astoundingly Fabulous. And then there's the Dynamic, Energetic, Brilliant. Astoundingly ADEB, ABDEB, ASDEB. ASDEB. That'd be, instead of AbFab is ASDEB. Big I, ASDEB. Astoundingly Dynamic, Energetic, Brilliant. I'm alone in the world. I don't have a friend to call to debrief about. Yesterday there was a hedge massacre on my birthday. Today there's digital landscaping required. And I was having, again, the completion of my birthday because, as I've said, I had to sleep at least 12 hours a day. So I only had half a birthday. So I have a second half of my birthday continuation on the day of today, which probably not going to slide to tomorrow. That's what happens when you have a chronic disease. You just can't get through things. And even when what you're trying to get through is 3 episodes of AbFab on your birthday. That was just the way time is sort of turned off, the timekeeping mechanisms in my brain. And I'm doing world evolving work up in there. It's quite non-temporal. to how do these plays, me and my screen time, and I admire the whole creation of Adina and Patsy, and the Empire are absolutely fabulous. Like I want to, most people would want to be in a cameo, a star, a character, or write a script, or suggest, an idea. I want to have Jennifer mentor me on the next FFAB. Get over here. Let her be a behind the scenes grand auteur. Jennifer Saunders. Love to work with you. Love to work with you. Love to work with you. Right now, in order to work with anyone, I got to rest. Harmony, y'all.